I've got my APC and a tank and another tank. I've got one left now. And I thought I need to try and save that APC and I couldn't. Tank was taken out immediately and I saw these units were being wasted.
Battle control initialized.
Hello there, comrades and cannon fodder. It's Dvoid here. I've got a 1v1 multiplayer game and we're on Trask map for this one. I'm using Russia, my opponent's using Ukraine. On this map I've got a specific build pattern. Normally I would put my war factory next to my starting ore field, especially one this size. But because of the gem patch, I use the war factory as build reach around here, so I can get a third refinery close to the gem patch. And it does mean that your ore trucks roll out of the war factory here, but they can, the first one or two can actually help harvest the gems, and it will get you a nice boost in income. And then just before the gems have finished mining, send all but one of the ore trucks to harvest from here. And these will regrow as well. It'll regrow as ore. I'm securing the closest oil derrick. Looks like my opponent is as well. Yeah, and he's secured that one. He's actually sent a few rifles in this direction as well. Now, your smaller groups of units like that, they obviously get defeated by a larger group, but he is actually in multiple places, whereas I have secured one and I'm at one. So it has its benefits splitting up your units. This is its downside, is that he's lost 3 to, or he's about to. Yeah, and I could see him blind firing. Look, he's firing at the dark, but I could tell there were very few rifles, so I just overran them. Secured the area, so I'm taking my second oil derrick. My opponent is as well. I'm about to, there we go. So is my opponent, almost there. Think he trained less rifles than I did. He's got 7, I've got 21. And more on the way. My opponent's got cash, he should be training by now. Maybe he's busy. There's the engineer. It's gone on a mission to the bottom corner. Someone was mentioned in comments recently on my channel that, you know how if your engineer goes all the way around to the edge of the map, units like these, look, if this engineer moves this way, this guy will catch him. And I'm sending a rifleman here, look. So at the edges of the map, they will get caught. But if you keep your engineer short of that, then, and it won't get caught by an early rifle guard, then it can wait somewhere hidden out of the way for a capture when the time is right later. Say when you launch a massive attack and your opponent's busy, or 2 attacks and your opponent's busy, that's when you could use your engineer for a little capture. And it's a good point. Someone mentioned it in my comments when I mentioned catching engineers out like this. But if you stop your engineer short of being caught out and keep it in a shady place, then it is a viable tactic, as long as you keep it safe and hidden. And I saw my opponent's APC, and that these units were, you know, easy meat, but I had to keep the engineer safe. So I decided the first choice was to send him there. Then I decided to send him back and just keep him with my units. My opponent has sent their APC, but it's actually got units in. Right. And I know the engineer's there. He rolled past my rifleman. Plus, he went in this direction. I think my rifleman may have even got a shot off because I did hear it. And I'm here, though. This is actually where my attention is. My engineer's going on board the APC. So my opponent's moving around this way. Here we go. This is my main ore patch. And 2 of the ore trucks are on the way from the gem patch. Now here it's a rocket drop. 5 rocket soldiers, and I've got to move away my ore trucks immediately because 5 rocket soldiers can trash them. So I'm trying to pick them out. I got 2. And there you go. The APC's off, and they've salvaged 3 rockets. So I thought, right, I'll try and cut them off with this. APCs move quickly, so there we go. Got some shots off. None of my infantry did, though, sadly. But it left me in position to go for this oil derrick. I've got a couple of rifles in position in case an engineer tries to capture this. Looks like my opponent's going for that. In response, but I'm capturing. Has my opponent still got an engineer? Yes. Oh yeah, it's down there. Sorry, of course it is. Right, yeah, these units are without a vehicle. So my opponent... Oh dear. They lost their APC. They destroyed my oil derrick, and because they killed my engineer while he was capturing, I've destroyed their oil derrick. Very few units defending the home base. I've got some here, look. A couple of small groups of infantry and a tank. Not a lot, but because this is still a decent amount of ore left, look. This field is a good one. That's just about done, and I've got my first expansion set up. Now, this is the larger patch to go to, and it's pretty close. It's just as close as to your home base MCV as that, if not closer. Obviously, my war factory's here, but I actually like to place my expansions there. Because I like to harvest these two each. These two ore fields, because sometimes your opponent makes an aggressive expansion. And I like to try and harvest some of it and get it out of the way before that happens. Now, I'm moving units forward, and so is my opponent. And I'm at 15,000 army value, my opponent's at 12,000 army value, and he's caught my forces not out of position. I've caught his as well, but it's not good. And they haven't got any vehicles, though, so I need to get my tanks. And I got caught by base defences, but I've lost my lead tank. I couldn't pursue that until these were all cleared up. And there we go. And I decided, there's not a lot there, but I decided to press on. And I'm defending here, look. And my opponent is going for it. He's hoping I've expanded here the same as he has. Because there is expanded both ways. I haven't expanded here yet. So he's ahead of me. It's actually, that makes sense, him going there. Them going there, whether it's he or a she, I don't know. But that makes sense, this attack, because they've expanded this far. So it makes sense to assume I have. It was just I've delayed. So, you know, I'm behind in the expansion. And it's led to these units going wide. He could have attacked, but I've got a decent force here now. Look, I'm even building in a different place. And here's an attack, and I've got my APC and a tank and another tank. I've got one left now. And I thought I need to try and save that APC, and I couldn't. Tank was taken out immediately, and I saw these units were being wasted. So I thought, right, I've literally got, that's it, my construction yard, so I have to fall back. And I had, what do you call it, that ready to place, yeah, an oil refinery. So I put my base defense. Why on earth I put that refinery there? I don't know, but I did. And here comes the enemy attack force in both places. Here, where I've fallen back, they've lost their vehicle though. And I'm bringing up forces here to help them, but then I've had to turn back with these forces. Here, look. And my opponent is delaying. There you go, they're attacking my barracks. My attention's here, because I just placed a power plant. So when here, I've fallen back. There we go. Trying to get that tank into position, look. There we are. And I saw I had to stop them quickly because these are in a nice line formation. So, but once my tank was up front, even though it's destroyed now, that was enough. That's all it took. And I'm pushing the attack here again, but without vehicles. So, you know, I'm in a bad way on with the enemy's view range, with their structures, and placing base defences. I haven't got the reach, because I'm attacking, so my opponent can place base defences pretty much where they like. And I'll probably have to go through them. So I'm taking out these structures as I go. Look, you see more base defences. I haven't got vehicles. That's the point I had to get back. And at the moment, my reinforcements are heading that way, and I changed my mind at this point, because these guys are falling back. I can't keep attacking there, so I decided to attack somewhere else, because my opponent probably there, look, my infantry build queue is moving within range of a flame tower. That's not what you do. And I saw my ore trucks under attack and couldn't have that. So they had to fall back. And I've retreated with that MCV. So I have abandoned this, but I've got a decent amount of troops protecting it. I want it to hold the enemy up and make them think that I'm defending it. That can't be idle for that long, that's a mistake. But I am transferring ore trucks, look, and now this is set up. I'm moving my home base MCV, even though this is the only cover I've given them. There could be an enemy army anywhere in here. I took the chance because I have a refinery ready to place. But I've launched my eco raid, taken out an ore truck, and my opponent's backed off into a nice solid position, look. They've seen I haven't got that much. And yet again, my second attack, I've had to back away and retreat, look. Not good. 12,000 army value to me, 10,000 to my opponent. So those two attacks have cost me dearly, and I haven't taken out that much. And the ground I took, my opponent is now in control of. This is not good at all. You should at least have Tesla coils here to destroy his ore trucks and keep him back, at least. My opponent's the one with Tesla coils, look, that's not good. And they're defending his harvesting operation, so it's excellent. My opponent's doing well. But he gave away his position there. That was a bit of a mistake. And I've grouped my entire army together. So this isn't going to hold my opponent up for long. I do need to keep remembering to place production, primary production here now and then. Just so I've got some units there. But also keep switching it back to where I need it. So I'm moving my army. I'm at 17,000, 18,000. My opponent's at 12,000 now, so they're behind. They're not replacing units like I am. I'm quickly growing in army size. I've got no cash, but my opponent hasn't. Income. We're both, in fact, yeah, I've got a better income. But I saw this. I saw my opponent's construction yard set up, so I decided to turn my army and catch it out. I knew it was... Oh, well, I saw it go this way, and I thought it was going to go up. I knew it. Look at that. It's ordered it to go up. So I actually sent half the force this way to catch it up. That's too slow. This force I wanted to send here, but I attacked instead, thinking this was abandoned. And look at the V2. Just arrived. Perfect timing. And it's not come in firing on attack move. It's being controlled properly. So that's good. That's what you want to see. And my opponent's MCV escaped. And it's gone quiet here, but my opponent's got units. But they're harvesting from here. So army value is at 19,000 to 12,000. My opponent isn't growing army size enough. I need to speed that up. I've run out of cash now. And there's my attack. But the V2s are good. Very good. There you go, there's another missile launch. A nice hit, and it's falling back. That's perfect, because I'm overrunning them, but there's a nice screen of defences. V2's in position again. Fires. Not a bad hit. Now it's falling back again. It's a veteran. That's perfect to see. I'm getting a few shots on it, but at the same time, I don't want to keep going and string my units out and get attacked by everything else. But I've got my radar dome, and my opponent's got aeroplanes, and there's two V2s. But what I want is a barracks immediately. And I've overrun them, look, but the V2s made a mistake in the direction they went. That's a big mistake. I think they were trying to get here to fight for longer, but they should have just retreated back here and made another stand. Those V2s did a lot of great work. That's how you use them. Very nice. And right from the word go, they were not using attack move. They were controlling them properly. Now, here's an engineer, because I'm going for the chokehold on the refinery, but my opponent has got an aeroplane, and there's my first thief. So there's an infiltration. We haven't got much cash in. There's another... My opponent shot that engineer. There's another infiltration. So I've produced another engineer, and I've got to get rid of those planes. Obviously, they're done. But I'm building here now, and I've got the refinery in capture mode. There's a thief, just in case this packs up and drives away. The thief is there ready. And there's an engineer to capture it if it doesn't. And I was fumbling to get that thief to a capture order, and it just got away, look. I should have chased it, but there you go. There's another infiltration. That's more like it. That's more like it. And I've got it in the chokehold, so there's no way you can sell it. I've got more thieves, look. So I can... And my opponent's got a 4 grand. Now they've got 2. Now they've got less than 1. So that's it. That was a nice, worthy infiltration. clearing out these forces over here, and I am building some units, look. Some are being called to the front line, and some are producing here. But I've noticed my base defense working. And there you go, I've got another attack, and I've got another chokehold opportunity. There's an engineer there. There's units being produced here. This is primary production now over here. And my opponent's building up another force. There goes my engineer on the capture mode. V2s are a very good unit to stop the chokehold. You can snipe engineers or destroy the refinery itself. And there, look, I've built up a decent little force to defend that. So I can hold that ground now. There's my opponent's MCV down there. I didn't know about that, but there you go. I've pushed through and wiped out that force. There's the capture. And we're pushing on. The V2s are doing brilliant. It's really nice to see someone use the V2 so well. It's just in numbers overwhelmed them. Hey, he should have fired. He's being extra cautious. Nice to see. Fired at the tank. And that's too close now. Gone. But yeah, that's how I've got a thief there in case a vehicle comes out, look. But that's how you use V2s. Very well done to my opponent there. And I've got units approaching from here now. Tanks are still on their way. Oh yeah, there's my thief. And there's an enemy tank. And my thief has stolen it. So I've got another extra enemy heavy tank been converted. That's how you fight a war. Get the enemy to build tanks for you. So there you go. My opponent called it at that point. So it was, you know, an average length game, not a really short one, not a long one, an average length. And there was a bit of tech used. My opponent used those V2s brilliantly, and I used thieves. And I even built an airfield, but I didn't get a chance to use any of the assets or anything from it, sadly. But it was an interesting game, attacks both ways. My opponent did well. It's some interesting stuff. So I'll go through the graphs and charts and that for you. There's the army graph, look, and it looks like we're pretty much evened out there at about 8 minutes. So my opponent did very well, but they lost a heck of a lot of units, look. At 9 minutes, they must have taken a savaging. Yeah, that was quite bad. But they did recover quite nicely and fought on well. And like I say, I keep mentioning those V2s, but, you know, they did brilliantly. Their earnings, they did well because they expanded better than I did. They'd reached this half of the map on their side, you know, long before I did, and they were here as well. So I'm not surprised their earnings peak above mine on at least 3. You know, they've done well there. At least 3 points. My finishing army isn't that much. So they fought me well all the way. Yeah, 13,000 army value. That's not much at all. That's not much at all. In fact, let me check how many tanks I've got. Is that 6? I can't quite see from here. Maybe 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Yeah, probably 8 then. I'm quite away from the telly. Yeah, it's not much of an army. 13,000, you know, it doesn't take much to defeat that, or a bit of a mistake attacking in the wrong place, and you can lose a larger army than that. But I lost 4 structures, my opponent lost 26. I killed 291 units, my opponent killed 320. I destroyed 87,000 credits worth of my opponent's assets. My opponent destroyed 69,000 credits worth of mine. I've got my support powers in effect, my paratroopers and spy plane, but I hadn't used them. I just built the airfield. Let's have a look what we got. Production should be basic stuff. I've got a tech centre actually underway. I knew I was that solid and that, you know, everything was well covered, and that I had the enemy well and truly on the back foot, that I was producing tech. You know, you should be producing it about this time, though, to be fair. I should have had V2s in action for a couple of minutes, to be fair. But I am ready to place my tech centre. That's something. I'd have probably got an Iron Curtain on the way and continued with standard units for a bit with the V2 or 1 or 2 and use the Iron Curtain on some of my heavy tanks or something to win engagements. Just go simple and make good use of the tech you build. But yeah, I'm still producing standard stuff except for that. Infantry, tanks and defences. Earnings, I hung on to an oil derrick, that one. My opponent destroyed them all. And I destroyed this one of my opponents. And my opponent destroyed that one. I've got 8 ore trucks. and I earned 127,000. My opponent earned 117,000. Not bad. Both got some cash. My opponent was doing all right for cash at the end. I got some nice infiltrations off them. 30 actions per minute from me, 41 actions per minute from my opponent. There's your scores at the end. And there you go. There's all your numbers, graphs and charts. I hope you enjoyed the game. If you like what you saw, give us a sub and a like. And thank you very much for watching. Take good care of yourselves. And until next time, goodbye.
Battle control terminated.